The smartphone. I mean, think about it. It went from this crazy, expensive luxury item to, well, basically an extension of our own minds. Most of us can't even imagine life without one. But what if its golden age is already over? What if the device that totally defined the last 2 decades is already on its way out? Let's get into it. And look, this isn't just some wild theory. Major industry reports are pointing to 2026 being one of the worst years ever for smartphone sales. But, every ending is also a new beginning. So the real question is, what comes next? To really get a handle on where we're headed, we've got to look at where we've been. So we're going to start at the very dawn of mobile, then watch the smartphone revolution unfold. Check out the absolute gold rush in markets like India. See how innovation kind of hit a wall. And then we'll look ahead to the next great shift, a brand new era powered by AI.
Okay, let's rewind the clock. Way, way back. Before there were app stores, before you could swipe on anything, to a time when a phone's main job was, just making phone calls.
You remember the early 2000s, right? Nokia, Samsung, they were the absolute kings. And their little feature phones were everywhere. It was all about calling and texting. Then we got color screens and this painfully slow 2G internet. Back then, a smartphone was basically just a regular phone that could open a really clunky web browser and maybe, just maybe, let you play a game of Snake. That was it. That was peak tech.
But then something started to change. A new kind of device started popping up, one that wasn't just for calls, but was actually for work. And it totally set the stage for everything that was about to come.
For a lot of people, the first truly smart device was the BlackBerry. Oh man, that physical QWERTY keyboard was just iconic. And with BlackBerry Messenger, BBM, it became the must-have tool for anyone in business. It was a status symbol that made being connected on the go a real, productive thing for the first time. And then came the year that changed, well, everything. The year the mobile phone industry was turned completely on its head.
2007, Apple launches the iPhone. Now, it wasn't the first phone with a touchscreen, but it was the first one that made touch feel, well, magical. It wasn't a phone with the internet kind of tacked on. It was the internet right in your pocket. This thing was so revolutionary that the Android team reportedly threw their BlackBerry-style prototype in the trash and started over from square one. The game had just been completely rewritten.
As this smartphone revolution just exploded across the globe, nowhere was the growth more dramatic than in India. That market became an absolute battleground, and it's the perfect story to understand the whole smartphone boom.
So between 2010 and 2014, the Indian market was basically the Wild West. You had this huge wave of local brands, Micromax, Lava, Carbon, just popping up out of nowhere. At one point, there were over 70 of them, all fighting to get an affordable smartphone into everyone's hands for the very first time.
The game plan for these early Indian brands was super simple. Buy cheap phones from China, slap your own logo on them, and sell them for a low price. And you know what? It worked for a little while. But then, after 2014, the Chinese brands themselves, Xiaomi, Vivo, Oppo, decided to enter the market directly. And their strategy was different. They offered way better hardware and features for about the same price. They weren't just cheap, they were actually better.
But the final nail in the coffin for so many of those early Indian brands came in 2016. The launch of the Jio 4G network wasn't just big, it was an earthquake. Suddenly, everyone had access to cheap, super-fast data. And just like that, overnight, 3G phones, which were the main product for a lot of these local brands, were basically worthless. The choice was simple: adapt or die.
All this intense competition just fueled a frantic race for new features. The industry was innovating at a crazy pace, pushing the absolute limits of what a smartphone could even be.
That period between 2018 and 2020, that was peak hardware craziness. I mean, companies were trying literally everything to stand out. We got these beautiful bezel-less displays, we got pop-up cameras that would mechanically slide out of the phone, fingerprint scanners hidden under the screen, the very first foldable phones, and cameras with more lenses than a spider has eyes. It was a wild, wild time with some new game-changing feature being announced every few months.
And then 2020 happened. The entire industry just slammed into a brick wall. The pandemic kicked off this whole chain reaction of problems. There were chip shortages, supply chains got completely tangled up, and prices started soaring. We even started seeing a spike in hardware failures, like that dreaded green line on screens, because some companies were forced to cut corners just to get phones out the door.
So this created a really weird situation. While all that wild innovation slowed way down, the overall quality of phones went up.
The era of buying a truly bad phone is just over. Even a cheap budget phone today is so good that it can easily last you 3 or 4 years. And that's the real problem for the companies making them. We just don't need to upgrade every single year anymore.
So, if the hardware race is kind of stalled out, where does the industry even go from here? Well, the answer, it seems, is artificial intelligence. But here's the twist. The big AI boom is actually making your next phone more expensive. Why? Well, because all the tech giants are buying up all the high-end memory chips they can find for their massive AI servers. This creates a shortage, and that drives up the price of those exact same parts for phone makers. Right now, AI is the big priority, and smartphones are kind of getting the leftovers.
But AI's impact is going to be way bigger than just the supply chain. It's about to completely change how we use our phones. I mean, forget the static grid of apps we've used for over a decade. Imagine an interface that literally builds itself around you, in real time. That's what people are calling generative UI. Instead of you hunting for the right app, the right button just appears exactly when you need it. You might not even need apps at all, just an AI that gets things done for you.
So, where does all of this lead? Let's try to look beyond the black mirror in our pocket and see what the next era of personal tech might actually look like.
Okay, so here's one possible future. By 2027, we might start seeing the first real AI-native hardware, maybe even a whole new operating system to challenge Apple and Google. By 2029, AI-powered glasses and other wearables could be everywhere. The end of the decade could feel a lot like the early 2000s again, just this chaotic, exciting period of trial and error as everyone tries to figure out what the next big thing is.
This all really boils down to one massive shift. We're moving from an app-centric world, where you have to go looking for information, to an agent-centric world, where the information finds you. Your AI will proactively help you out, instead of just sitting there waiting for you to open an app.
So here's the bottom line. Smartphones aren't going to disappear tomorrow, but the real innovation, the truly exciting stuff, is starting to happen somewhere else. The next big breakthrough probably won't look like a phone at all. It's going to be a new kind of intelligent, wearable, AI-first device.
We are standing right on the edge of a revolution, just like we were back in 2007. And the big tech companies that fail to adapt to this new AI-driven world, they could easily become the Nokias and the BlackBerries of tomorrow. So now, I'm turning it over to you. What do you think the future of personal tech really looks like? Drop your predictions in the comments below.